Good evening, all. Wow, weather here for liveweatherblogs.com with your update here coming up on quarter to six. Here is update on Isaac. Right now, Isaac approaching the island of Guadeloupe. In Lesser Antilles, right here would be the circulation. Pretty good blow up of thunderstorms underway here, right near the circulation. As you can see, there's still, as Mike was pointing out, Mike DeFino was pointing out, there's still a little bit of a northeasterly shear. See the thunderstorms blow up here, and they re-emerge on the other side of the islands here. So you get an idea that there's still a little bit of a northeast shear here, a little bit coming in from the northeast. So kind of keeping Isaac in check. Isaac moving off to the west at 21 miles per hour. 45 mile per hour winds. It's down 2 millibars since 2 o'clock, down to 1,004 millibars, and it should steadily reorganize as it crosses the islands, and probably at this point right around in here should probably pop 50, 60 miles per hour, and then once it gets past about this line right here is when it's going to start feeling this tut feature that Mike DeFino has been pointing out here in eastern Cuba. There's an upper level low with associated trough, and this could actually bring about some southwesterly shear. At the same time, you get the idea. You can see some of these clouds here also moving off to the north. This, in fact, if this stays put here, may start steering Isaac a little bit further north of west in the coming couple of days. Here's that trough sitting out over Florida. Hence, you know, anything's fair game at this point. A lot of the models want to take it up in this general direction. Some a little bit further to the east, some a little bit further to the west, like the GFS coming up near the Florida. And you got the Euro wants to cut kind of like this, and then in the Gulf of Mexico, and then at about this point starts intensifying rapidly and moves toward Louisiana. You know, there's a lot of time here to look, and you definitely want to keep tuned to liveweatherblogs.com if you're in Florida and the southeastern states, as Isaac is most likely going to affect this region. There is really no way that it's going to go out to sea. You got a building area of high pressure here, and the building area of high pressure actually made this start pushing this trough a little bit further to the west as well, and we'll see that happen in time, and maybe some more showers and thunderstorms breaking out from central Florida up into the southeastern states. So let's put the tropical forecast points here. Again, here's Isaac here. The thunderstorms a little bit displaced from the center to the southwest, still holding his own. It's going to cross very near Guadeloupe this evening, later on tonight. And then as you can see, this is the hurricane forecast track. It becomes a Category 1 up here, not far from the southwest coast of Florida here. If you're in the Cape Coral of Fort Myers area, this would not be a good situation for you here. So you want to definitely keep tuned to this. It's more or less the GFS track as well. Out here you see another symbol for a tropical storm. This would be Tropical Depression 10 becoming Tropical Storm Joyce, going in this direction. So that's right now, and we'll see what happens. This is the Caribbean Rainbow Satellite from NOAA. Let's go to a few models here. This is the Canadian model that came out. The Canadian model earlier this afternoon shows Isaac coming up along the east coast of Florida and inland and racing toward Tennessee. And then right behind Isaac, this is Joyce coming up in this general direction. Um, like I said, anything's fair game at this point. It all depends on this big area of high pressure in the orange here in terms of how these two systems are going to track. But if this Canadian model as present were to pan out, this would be really bad news for up here in Jacksonville. This would be a Category 1, strong 1, maybe 2 hurricane coming up in here. And then Joyce should be following on its tails toward the Outer Banks. So we'll wait and see on that. That's the Canadian model. Let's go back here. Let's show this is the Euro operational model, which is furthest to the south. Put this into motion, and as you can see, the Euro keeps it weak, and this too is also possible. Comes across the western tip of Cuba, and then really blows up en route to apparently New Orleans and Mobile Bay, Alabama. So again, if this just tells you right now, if you're in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, you really want to in the Panhandle of Florida, just get your preparedness kits ready. even in the southeastern states. And this whole coast, basically, I would say anywhere from Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way down and around the bend here to Louisiana. Even though this system may not directly affect you, this whole area is primed for heavy rains and whatnot. So keep it tuned here to liveweatherblogs.com over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at a couple other things. This is from hamweather.com, and this is a 24 loop of the infrared. You can clearly see here's your trough here along the east coast, which will come into play with whatever happens to Isaac as he moves across the greater Antilles, as Hispaniola, Haiti, and Cuba, and see how it comes into interaction with this trough. And then let's see here. This is the National Hurricane Center track, as Mike DeFinos always says. Lean on the hurricane track. This is the official hurricane track here, very close to what the GFS is showing as a tropical storm all the way across here through Cuba, and then emerging in the southeastern Florida Straits. Probably crosses the Central Keys here and then up the coast, right near Fort Myers in the Tampa area by 2 o'clock Monday as a hurricane. So it's a Category 2, 1 strength, 80-mile-per-hour hurricane there. So, want to keep it here again, liveweatherblogs.com in the next couple of days. This is the current position right now of Isaac right here, right near the island of Guadalupe, probably getting ready to cross it. You got the tropical storm warnings in effect for Puerto Rico and the islands, St. Martin, St. Thomas, and then you got down here, you actually got a hurricane warning for the south coast of the Dominican Republic, also a tropical storm warning for the north coast of the Dominican Republic. Some of the models want to scoot it right through here very quickly, or maybe they keep it south and then scoot it across here. In terms of the terrain here in the Dominican Republic, very high mountaintops, 10,000, 7,500, 10,000 foot tops. If Isaac were to come across here and kind of scrape this way, it would not disrupt. It would disrupt the circulation, but maybe not as much as you would think, and it would really get going up here. If it came across here and came across this part of Haiti and somehow managed to scoot through this little channel between Haiti and the Cuba area, that also could may not weaken Isaac as much. But generally speaking, though, appears to be that Isaac has a couple obstacles in the way, one being the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Cuba, and the other being that trough that's sitting right about here, and you can clearly see it on the water vapor map. There's that trough that Mike DeFino has been pointing out. Let me get in here. And it's right here. It's seemingly been moving off to the west, and now it seems to be slowing down stationary. As Isaac comes into this area, Isaac will be pulled a little bit further to the north, as well as being directed by the high, so you can get the idea that there's going to be a little bit of shear coming out of the southwest here, and this probably in itself, let alone the mountains, would keep Isaac in check, and perhaps keep it weak, as Mike said, and keep it south of Cuba, and then maybe it goes into the Gulf of Mexico. The weaker it stays, the further south it stays, and as if it does tend to develop a little bit more in this area, that's when you're probably in the next 24 to 48 hours in this area was where you might see some of the models maybe adjust their tracks because it had intensified a little bit more, and this trough right here is able to grab it and pull it to the north. Time's really going to tell here. Probably in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 days, we'll really get a better handle on it to see how it's going to affect the southeastern states. But again, if you're in the southeastern states, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, southern North Carolina, even over here in Alabama and Louisiana, since Euro wants to place that area in play as well, get your preparedness kits ready and prepared. Maybe you might want to stock up a little bit of water here and there. This doesn't look like it's going to be a big Category 4 or 5 hurricane, but maybe just a modest hurricane or a strong tropical storm. Winds between 70 and 90 miles per hour. So again, nothing to sneeze at. Could do some damage, property damage and stuff like that. Still, you want to take this as serious as if it were any kind of intensity. Any hurricane basically is dangerous, and there'd be quite a bit of onshore flow causing some storm surge. This is Wild Weather here for LiveWeatherBlogs.com. Keep it tuned here. Further updates on Isaac in the coming hours and days by our wonderful staff meteorologists that we have on board here.